I do. I kind of wanted to give perspective.
Tabitha, you next, baby girl. Thank you for being patient, Tab. We'll go to Shirley real quick.
One of my best friends, she's African American, and I used to listen to her tell me that she had the same opinion, that she wanted her sons to date within their race. And her reasoning behind that is because she cared so much about her race and her heritage and everything that come with that, that she did not want that to fade out. And I respected that. And I didn't see that as a negative thing. I seen it as her just saying, you know, I'm proud of who I am and I want that to continue, and that not to be a thing and it fade out with, you know, biracial, you know, relationships. Now, she was like her, she would be happy with whoever her sons were with, but she just had her perspective on it. And I didn't find it offensive at all. You know, I think that was just her take on it and her pride within the situation.
Well, listen, if I could just say, listen, when you do that, when you go ahead and do that, remember, you're asking your children to love only those from their own race, regardless of their merits that those other races may have, right? You sitting there telling your children basically to be only receptive and only to love a specific race. That's how kids are going to go ahead and be receptive to that, right? You're sitting there putting that into your kid's brain. I'm going to give you an example. My cousin, he's 43 years old. My aunt did the same exact shit. My cousin told me one day he had a white woman's poster hanging up on his fucking wall. He said that my aunt came in the room one day and literally snatched that shit off the fucking wall and shit. I'm like, yo, that shit crazy and shit. I'm like, that shit is wild and all that. And I can understand if she feels the same way that she would like her son to maybe marry within our own race. But the whole point is, for you to take it that far, you just sitting there putting into a 15-year-old boy's brain and shit, right? The wrong shit, especially when he fears you already. You sitting there got him like literally traumatized off simple shit like that. Like literally, like it's detrimental by putting that into children's head to sit there and be receptive only to a certain race, only love a certain race, because that's what you're basically.
I think that comes with how it's perceived and how you deliver that to your child. Because her best friend was white, her kids played with my children, and it wasn't. I think it was explained in a different way. And I think that's what changes the outcome at the end on how you deliver that message to the children.
Can I say something about that?
Hold on, the teacher, if you don't mind, we can let this Tab go real quick because I know she was being patient. Let me go right through. Go ahead, Tab.
No, she can go ahead. She can go ahead.
Sure? All right, go ahead, the teacher. It's on you.
One thing we have to remember that in this country, Black is two things. It's not just a race. It's also a culture for us. Unlike in other countries where you can, obviously we're Black Americans, but our Blackness here in America is very unique in comparison to other countries, okay? And I don't know if y'all know the history or whatever, but and I'm not trying to get no history lesson, but the difference between Black people here in this country and Black people elsewhere, we have no ties to anywhere else. So our Blackness just isn't just talking about the color of our skin, but it's also talking about our culture and our history. So when we say we want our children to marry within our race, we're not just talking about the skin color. We're talking about the culture as well. Just like when Jewish people would like their children to marry another Jewish person because
you gotta use the right words though. You can't even use that word.
Okay, well, that's the thing though. That's what makes us very unique from every other. That sets us apart from every other people group in this country and outside of this country. And because our culture and our race is tied into each other. Because we don't have, I can't say, when I say I'm Black and I'm American, I can't say, oh, well, my ancestors or my great grandparents came here from Nigeria such and such amount of years ago, or from this place, or from Ireland, or from London, or whoever else. Everything that we know started here. Our culture is here. It's nowhere outside of there. So I don't think that when we say that, it just means, oh, a skin color. It also means our culture, everything. For example, my son my son is 18. He was dating a Puerto Rican girl. She is dark skinned as me. Okay. So in a sense, people will look at her and say she's Black. But at the same time, she didn't eat the same food we ate. She didn't grow up listening to the same type of music that my son grew up listening to. She didn't have the same culture identity, period, as my son, because though her skin was black, though her skin was dark and she had kinky hair, she was Puerto Rican. Her mother's native tongue was Spanish. So it's more than just the race or the color of the skin. And we have to remember that. So when I say that, I don't just mean the color of someone's skin, because you could get a woman who's from some country in Africa and her skin color could be the same as mine, but it isn't the same thing as a Black American.
No doubt, Letitia. I appreciate that. Tab, you want to chime in before we let the new guest get
No,
a
I
chance?
had let her go because I was going to chime in on what the other girl had spoke on, but she dropped down. So,
Oh, all right,
yeah,
all right. You want to say something else, though? You still got a chance to say anything
No,
else
it was
if you
just the
want.
fact that, she was going on about, oh, I hope it's real. I hope it's real. What is real?
Word.
I mean, because my thing is, it's crazy that a lot of people don't. I mean, y'all should realize the fact that white women, when we date Black guys, we go through a lot as well. We lose family members. We get talked about. We get, trashed about. We don't get invited to the family gatherings. You know what I'm saying? We don't care. But nobody looks at that. Everybody looks at, oh, we just want to date a white man. I mean, a Black guy just to be dating a Black guy. Oh, we just dare to be there. Like, why wouldn't it be real?
No doubt.
Why wouldn't it be real just because we white? That don't make no sense.
And Tabitha, I've gone through that with my kids too, because my family doesn't understand, and I'm not going to dictate them on who they care about or who they want to date. But I can definitely empathize with you there on that.
Girl, that's what kills me the most, because a lot of sisters won't what can I say, speak up and hold other sisters accountable. They're just automatically, oh, no, we don't hate, they so offensive right off the bat, instead of actually agreeing like me halfway, like, yeah, you're right, we do have some sisters that act that way. You're right. And that's why I'm here to try to figure out why. Because I do not get on TikTok and see any white women bashing Black women for dating white men. But you would definitely see
about that one.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead now. I appreciate that, Chad. We're gonna let Tiara, they ain't get a chance to speak, and then we're gonna let Passion, and then right after that, Red Hills lady in the building. We're gonna go up the panel. Go ahead, Tiara.
I think it has a lot to do with the history of Black people. You know what I'm saying? And the way that both sides have been taught to really hate each other. You know what I'm saying? We have to understand where we came from so that we won't go back there again. And if we understand that we really are one, you know what I'm saying? There is no such thing as a pure white person or pure Black person.
Thank you,
it's
Tiara.
no such
Talk
thing.
that shit. Talk that shit.
My great-great-grandfather is white, okay? And we have land in Alabama. They don't like us as the Black side. Okay, that's understood. You understood, But I also want to encourage my sisters. It's okay to date outside your race. Okay? It is okay. Don't worry about how people will look at you. You don't, just like you said earlier, host, you don't know where you'll find love at.
Word of mother.
You don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know. So you can't sit up there and say, oh, well, I'll never date it. Look, okay, I ended up with a Black king at the end of everything, but I've dated outside my race my entire life. I'm 37 now. So I dated outside my race my entire life. I mean, Asian, Arab, white, Black, you know what I'm saying? And the reason why I did not end up with another race of man is because of my family. My mother and my family, they're kind of prejudiced. You know what I'm saying? So, and I don't want that to stop any Black man, Black queen, Black king from finding love. You know, because love comes in all different shapes and sizes. You know? And in order for us to stop this rhetoric that's been going on for so long is to come together as one and tell people, you can't tell us what to do. We're doing right. You can be hateful and go to your grave that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
There are good black men, there are good Asian men, there are good white men, there are good men out here. You can't, black women, just keep yourself in this, you gonna die single.
Telling you,
You
listen,
know?
you better roll the dice out. Listen, I said, listen, we live in America in a world where it's endless options. Why would you limit yourself to anything? I don't give a fuck. Like, why would you just...
And you know, we travel all over the world as black women too, you know?
Well, and
So
that's another thing. I see a lot of our queens always on vacation, so I don't understand how they could travel to all these motherfucking countries and tropical places, and you telling me that you ain't got no interest to roll the dice outside of, like, this ain't open up your mind more? Because if that shit ain't opening up your mind more, you need to stop even packing your bags and traveling out this motherfucker.
But like I said, that has a lot to do with our past as black people. You see what I'm saying? Especially black women. You know, I think it's more so of a fear. I really do. I think it's more so of a fear to really date outside of our race. We feel more comfortable with our black kings, you know? And that's just what it is when it comes to a black woman. But in order for her to advance in life, you have to learn how to look at the person and not the color. You know? You really have to. Because you will never find what God may have here for you if you don't ever learn how to think outside the box. And what my sister down here is saying, you know, there are some black women that snoot their nose up when they see a black king with a white woman or whatever. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of us that do that. And then let's see now. We're not going to stop there. There are a lot of brothers that do not like seeing a black woman with a white man or any other nationality of men. Okay? I mean, I see it all the time on social media. Oh, you bad wench and all that craziness. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing actually on both sides. You know? And we have to understand that those are closed-minded people. You know, who really have been traumatized by the past. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's all I got to say for right now, you guys.
Nah, you made some great points, y'all. I appreciate that.
You definitely did. I
Much
enjoyed
love.
it.
All right, Tiara, stick around. We're going to go to Passion, then we're going to go to Red Hills. Go ahead, Passion.
Okay.
It's on you.
Hey, thank you. I just want to say I really appreciate the points that she just made. Some very valid points, the lady before me. That's really nice to hear. You know, we do. I see it all the time, like name throwing and stuff like that. If you're in the wrong person's comments or anything, I do see it on social media. I don't see it so much in real life. I have to say I'm Canadian. I'm not American, so we don't quite have the same history here as there, obviously. But when you're talking about like the culture and appreciating the culture and expanding the culture, if you add more people to the culture, doesn't that expand it more? That's an honest question. I'm not being sarcastic.
That's a great point. That's a great point because shit, you know what I mean? I just thought about it quick and I'm like, well, damn, if that's the case, that shit is only going to keep that shit alive, right? It definitely ain't going to unalive if more people is involved with that shit, right? That shit is going to keep that shit alive forever.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying, right? So if we teach our children that they can date whoever they want, whenever they fall in love, whoever treats them properly, if we teach them more about morals and values and self-love and not give them emotional baggage about history. I've heard history mentioned so many times, but history doesn't help us move forward today. None of us did that stuff. None of us were there. And so I understand that it's terrible. It's freaking awful, but like we weren't there. And so I can't take back what other people did. And if I was there, man, I would if I could, believe me, but I can't. But going back to the expanding the culture part, so true story. So I met a guy from the west coast of this country, of Canada, and he grew up in a town where him and his brother were the only two BLK boys like at their school, in their town, etc. So when he grew up listening to like rock and roll music, dressing differently, like wearing like different clothes. Like he did not grow up. I grew up in Toronto, so that's the most multicultural city in maybe and Halifax too, but Toronto is the biggest, right? So I grew up around mostly like Jamaicans, honestly, like 11, 12, 13. I was already out at soca and dance hall parties and having a blast with my older friends and family, right? So I had to actually, teach him about his own music. Like I listened to his music and he listens to music that I wouldn't even put on my radio. So it really is about like, I guess, life experience. And I don't know. I think having allies, there's nothing wrong with that's going forward and it's progress. That's what I wanted to say.
No doubt. Well, I appreciate it, Passion. We're going to go to Red Hills. I appreciate you for sharing that. Thank you for being patient, Red Hills. Good to see you again.
What's up, family? How you doing? You always bringing the heat with these topics, right?
Listen. I'm ready. Listen.
Okay, well, let me just say something, you guys, and I want everybody to hear me out because I'm a little different on this panel because me and the host, we had conversations before. Black people, listen to me and listen to me well. Don't be fooled by the hype. Everybody wants our rhythm, but they don't understand and they don't want our blues. You guys need to read the book Without Sanctuary. It will show you some of the deepest history of the fabric of American society. And for that lady who just broke breath and had the nerve to say, oh, that was stuff that happened whenever back then, it is happening now. Now, let me go back to the people who want to date black men or white women, whatever the case may be. Black men or black women, you will never be anything when you date somebody white in that relationship because of the fact that the systemic racism overrides any power that you may have in that relationship, though. If that white woman tears can get you 1,000 years, and let's just be real. I got 5 black boys and they already know, don't come home. If it's snowing, you ain't going. We have to learn to teach our kids realness. See, the J people, the top hat people, when they do this, don't nobody say a word. It's only when black people start teaching their people, stay within your race. Now, don't get me wrong. We can sit up here and sugarcoat and say, guess what? Date who you want. Yeah, fine. Date who you want. But remember, there's consequences, though. We are black people. We are different people. Ain't nobody like us. We're the only race of people that have amendments because things were so bad for us. Everybody want to come in and say, well, guess what? You know what? Things have changed. My child, she can date a black race. Read books. See, a lot of us haven't read a lot of books. Pick up them books. Read the ISIS paper with Frances Cress Welsing. She'll tell you how the white race is in annihilation. It has declined. Now everybody wants to mix up with the black man. Everybody wants the black man. But yeah, let something happen in that relationship. That white T woman can call the 911 on that black man. He's going down. He's going down. I don't want to hear. Wait. Before anybody respond, I know your tongue is ready to respond. We have to learn to kick the ballistic where they belong. This is reality. Yeah, you could say love who you love, but really, let's just be real. Especially a black man. Nobody likes us. We have no friends. Look at all these situations that happen. Look at the girl from the slumber party with all the whitey people. Let's just be real, though. We got to learn to teach our kids, stay within your own race. When the J people do it, don't nobody say nothing.
So let me ask you, Red Hill.
Okay, go ahead.
Hold on, I got to ask Red Hill.
I got something to say after the host.
Tiara, if I could. Let me ask
I ain't
Red Hill.
sugarcoating. I'm being real.
Hold on, real quick, Tab. Hold on. Red Hills and Tiara. Hold on. Let me just ask Red Hills and Tiara. I want to know, do you feel that we got to sit there because the way implemented what you did, make it seem like as if we got to watch white people more than any other race of people? Are you saying that we got to watch white people and be more cautious and all that of every single white person who wasn't specifically involved with this history from the past, right? We got to be cautious of the people who wasn't involved today, the white race of every single one, and only the white race.
Okay,
let me tell you what. Okay, you go ahead, sister.
Let me just finish. See, that's the problem, though. See, the host, don't get me wrong. Me and you had this conversation. We cool. So we cool. So anybody hear us going back and forth, me and the
Now,
host.
listen, but look at Red Hills, though. I just want to be
Let me
clear.
finish.
But hold
See,
on,
my
Red Hills.
thing
I
is
just want
just that.
because I just want to say real quick,
Listen.
Red Hills, hold on.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, because only reason why, because I know you're a queen and all that, and I know, you know what I mean, you're gonna give it to us raw. But if you could just try to maybe lighten it up so people don't take it the wrong way, because at the end of the day, I don't want.
That's the problem.
But no, because listen, Red
Okay,
Hills, because
okay.
listen, I wouldn't let a white person come up here and at all try to ever think
I
they
got
can do
thick
no
skin.
shit.
Can't nobody handle
No,
Red
I
Hills.
get
I'ma tell
that,
you
but
right now.
respectfully, but listen,
They can't
respectfully.
handle me.
Please,
No,
please
but
bring
listen.
all that. I
listen.
want all that.
No, but
Yes.
listen. Hold on. Listen, it's a respect
Can't handle
thing.
me.
Hey, listen, it's a respect thing. I
Yes,
don't want
yes, sir.
nobody.
Yes,
listen,
sir.
I got 3 sisters, no brothers, right? I don't want, even if you got tough skin.
I got 8 sisters.
You know what I mean?
and
I
4
don't want
brothers,
nobody
and
to
I
sit
got
here,
5
come up
boys.
here
We
to
got
make
big
you feel
family.
any kind of way or anybody else to feel kind of way. Not a certain individual
Okay,
or
right,
a race of people. I mean, you can get your points across without.
Right.
Because,
You're right,
trust
host,
me,
and I respect you.
Listen,
Yes.
listen, at the end of the day, I know you give them jaw droppers and all that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And
I don't
see,
want
and
people
host,
to
can I
take it
just
out
say
of
something to you?
context.
Guess what? By
Right.
you saying what you're just saying, I know you don't mean no harm. But
Nope,
that's
not
the
at all.
problem. Guess what? You're telling me to basically tone it down just to be on somebody else's level for they can understand us. But when it comes to the prison system, you think they're gonna tone it down? When it comes to the Popo pulling our black men and our black young boys and girls over, you think they gonna turn it down?
Ma'am, you
So
keep
I gotta
going
tone it
to.
down on a live just to appease white
Listen,
people?
respectfully, because at the end of the day, I'm not gonna have nobody come do it to you or my race of people.
True. You're
That's
right,
why.
host. You're right. And you my friend, so I'm gonna listen to you.
I
I'm gonna
promise
listen
you,
to you. But
that's the
now let
only
me say
reason why I'm
something.
saying it.
I know.
I'm not saying it for no other
But can I just
reason.
say this though? If
Yeah.
people would really understand what black people went through, they would say, you know what, Red Hills is right. I didn't come on here and call nobody no name. I'm just speaking the truth. And a lot of times people
But
don't
when
believe
do
the truth.
when do we come together as a people?
We ain't gonna never
Because
come
that's the
together as a people.
only
But wait a
thing
minute,
we
Not
okay,
can
gonna
do.
let us come
Not with
together.
that
She
attitude.
Y'all not let me
already
finish.
raising her
Y'all not let me
children that
finish.
way,
Y'all not
so
let
it's
me
never
finish.
gonna be that. It's
Y'all
never
not
gonna
let
be
me
that.
finish though. See, that's the problem though. Everybody want to
Okay.
speak over me. Let me finish and then y'all can rebuttal and y'all can say what y'all want to say because I can handle all y'all. See, the problem is that everybody keeps saying come together. How can we come together when we at the bottom of the totem pole? They owe us reparations. Look at our neighborhoods. Look at their neighborhood. Look at their educational system. I'm a licensed educator. I have to go toe to toe with people all the time at the board meetings, teachers. I come in very respectful with my notebook and I tell them, look, our kids are suffering over here. These other kids is not suffering. So when you say come together and kumbaya and do
Because
what?
we don't
Do
come
what?
together to stop anything and change anything.
We do. We
No,
do.
we
We
don't.
Why
do.
do
No, we
you
No, we
don't.
don't. Not as a
wait,
whole.
wait,
No,
We
we
sister,
don't.
don't.
Red
We
Hills, we
don't.
don't though. Red Hills, we don't.
sister,
You know what I'm saying?
We don't. We are not like our ancestors. You
we
see what I'm
are.
saying?
Exactly.
And that's
We
real. Because
nothing.
we don't do nothing
Nothing.
that our ancestors have done
We nothing like them.
But can I say something to you, sister?
establish this
Listen,
America the
but
way
do
it
you
is
see
today.
what you're doing, sister?
Thanks.
You look at white people is looking at you like, okay, look at the two sisters going back and forth. You're right.
No, we
No,
not.
I'm,
No, we
everything you
not.
Let me
said is
finish.
right.
Let
Don't
me
speak for
finish.
us. Speak for
Listen,
yourself.
But
listen.
just
Don't
we
speak for
have the
us.
power
Listen,
as
just do
black
me a
Don't
people.
speak for
favor. Just do
us.
me a
We
favor.
have the
Why
power.
don't you listen? Just do me a favor. Save your saliva, and I'll let you speak.
What you
What I'm
talking
saying
is
just that,
bullshit,
listen, I
though.
know, but I'm not.
We
I
have the
agree with
power.
what you said. Listen,
You're angry because she doesn't agree with you.
You're not even. I don't want nobody to agree with me. I want you to talk.
I
You want
agree
to
with
talk.
her. I agree.
See,
But
and
I'm
that's what
trying
I'm
to find a
saying.
solution. See
Dude,
what I'm
you're right,
saying?
sister.
We
I'm
can
on
talk
your
about the
side.
past all day. What we gonna do right now?
Okay, but listen, we are doing things right now. First and foremost, though,
It's
guess what
not
we
enough
do?
of us, though,
I know
Queen.
you're
It's not
right. You're
enough.
right,
Yep.
sister. Can I say something? I agree with you, and I agree with the host. We do have a lot of work to do, but can I just say, mentally, sometimes our mental process is so messed up. Remember how
Yeah.
like, a lot of people would say, think about it when you was maybe 10, 15 years ago. There are certain things that you wouldn't do, and you evolve and said, dang, now that I'm older, now I see things differently. Now I see what
Right.
my mother said. Sometimes it takes our people longer to evolve and longer to say, look, let me pick up that book and read. Let me go over here and open up my own business and start complaining about what the whitey people is not doing. It takes us a little longer to evolve because systemically
Right.
we've been through so much crap. That's what I'm saying to you. I agree with you, sister, and I never want to come on this panel like the host said. Now I understand why the host said tone it down a little bit because you are going to get everybody that's coming in with the rah, 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 rah.
Oh
I'm
no,
not
I can
trying to do
handle
that, but
that.
guess what? We
It's
black
just
people.
it's just passion,
I have
Queen.
a
That's
question.
all.
I know it's true, and I'm on your side, sister. What's your name? What's your name?
Who me? I'm Tierra.
Okay, Tierra, I'm Red Hills Lady. Nice to meet you. I'm
Nice
on
to
your
meet you
side.
too.
But what I'm saying is that you know what I'm saying deeply. I got
Yes, I
5
do.
boys. I tell them every day, where it's snowing, you ain't going. Because if something happen, you may get one
But
Becky
see,
out of
Queen, we
all the.
can't
Hold on,
tell
Listen,
it
no,
I
wait,
gotta
wait, wait, wait,
chime in,
wait,
Red
wait.
Hills. Hold on.
You may
I
get
gotta
because
one
they
chime
go
Becky
to
in.
out of
school with
all the
everybody.
Red
candidates.
Hills, hold on, Red Hills.
Okay, go ahead.
Listen, I gotta chime in on that because
Okay.
listen, I love my people. I just called my cousin the other day and shit. He's in Kentucky, another black man. He's from New York. He traveled all around the world, retired in the military and all that. And trust me, my cousin on the same side with me on everything that I be saying. And I already know this shit, like not just me and shit, but to sit here and make it seem like we don't gotta even watch our very own. Let me say this. To
I
sit
never
there,
said
let me
that.
say this. Let me just say, I want everybody listening. Y'all can sit here and not want to accept it, want to be mad, whatever, but the facts are the facts. I don't give a fuck what race you are, what color you are. You got to worry about somebody who share the same skin tone and makeup as you more than somebody that's the opposite color and
You
makeup as
can't
you. You know why?
compare that.
Hold on.
Exactly, and
Let
they
me
know
tell
What
you
about our
why.
white
Let me tell you
allies
You
why.
can't compare
who
that,
Let me
helped
tell
us?
you
What
brother.
why.
about them?
Let me
What
tell
about
you
our
but
white
why.
allies?
At the
right,
end of the day,
exact. Listen, let me say some hosts. Can I say something? I respect you, and everybody. I want y'all to know that I respect the hosts. We go back and forth, but we cool people, right, hosts? Let's just get that.
sure,
Am I right, hosts?
for sure.
Okay, I want people to say before I say what I'm about to say. See, the problem with us as black people, we compare the black on black crime in our proximity with the global crime that's being
Right.
placed upon us. We can't do that. Y'all got to know history, though. Don't get me wrong. I can't stand it when I see a brother or a sister unaliving one of us. That hurts me to the core. But that's only a
But
handful
we
of the
understand
media.
why.
And listen, the media does that. The
But that's
media
the
is
same.
owned
Hold
by
on,
the
hold on, no.
top
But
hat
Red
people.
Hills,
They do
that's
that
the same
to make it
exact with
like
the
that.
proper. But that's the same with the propaganda and media and the stories with the George Floyds and all this other shit. We know it's not happening on this macro scale. We
Right,
know that
right,
hold on.
right,
We know that the propaganda and the media throw this shit in our face, knowing that
Yep.
it's
right,
minimal,
right,
right? To go ahead and
And
incite the
it's all
bullshit
right,
that it
fake.
does.
right,
So if you
right.
just said what you said, then it got to go hand in hand for the media as
But
well.
right, you're
Since
right.
you
But what I'm
said
saying to you
George
is just that.
Floyd, can I
Okay, but
please
go
interrupt
ahead.
y'all?
No, okay, go
Because
ahead. I'll
the
mute.
same year that George Floyd was killed, my brother was shot in his back 7 times by the
You got to say pew
police
pew and you got
department.
to say
Pew pew,
unalive.
yeah, pew pew, and underline.
Please
Oh,
use the
I'm
right
sorry,
word.
sorry, sorry,
And
sorry.
sister, rest in peace to your brother. And I'm
Yeah,
so
My
rest in
brother,
sorry
peace.
for
he
Rest in
that.
didn't
peace,
pass
my
away.
sister.
Don't say rest in peace.
My,
He
your
didn't
Oh,
pass
okay.
brother.
I'm
away.
sorry. I'm sorry, sister. I'm
He was
sorry. I
shot in
didn't
his
know.
back, or he was pew-pewed in his back 7 times
Right.
by the police department, and paralyzed from the waist down. There was major protests all over, riots. Shortly after that, after my brother was pew-pewed, the next day, actually, Kyle Rittenhouse, a young white man, came to Kenosha, Wisconsin, and
Uh
killed 2 people
huh.
at the protest. Okay,
Uh huh. Uh
so
huh.
I'm saying that to say, number one, this is still happening to us as a
Every
people.
day.
Okay.
Every day.
And systemic racism is way different than the crimes that are happening in your community. Yes,
Right.
you are more in danger on an every day-to-day basis when it comes to like walking down the street and stuff like that, by the people that live in your community. So if you're white or you're a white T person, you live in a white T community, yes, you're going to have to worry about other white T people more because you see them more. And the same
Right.
thing with any other group of people,
It's in your
whatever
proximity.
community. Yes, exactly.
And where you live
But
in an all white town, like I
but
do.
Right. Right.
systemic racism is
It's
something
there.
that impacts black people more than it does anybody else in this country. Okay,
Right,
Right.
but
and
there's
we have
40
Exactly.
to
And
plus,
we
then
hold
have
on,
to
but there's
acknowledge
40,
that
listen, there's
we
40
have
plus
to
million blacks in America. So when y'all
we
sit here and say what y'all say, y'all got to do the ratio. Y'all got to do the numbers to this.
we are
after
You're
hosts.
not, you're not
I'll
after
do it
because,
for
We
you.
because if you go
need
look at
white
it, it's not
people. We
we're
happening
gonna
on
need
a
have
them
to
on
macro
our
scale.
side. That's what we gotta
we
understand.
and
That's the only way we gonna get something accomplished.
We have
Trust me
to,
on that.
let me say this.
we got to
When
accept the
I
state.
before my brother was pew-pewed, I was a major in Black History. Afterwards, I switched my major to criminal justice after my brother being pew-pewed by the police because I needed to understand the laws in this country and be able to
Good. I'm
understand
proud of you, sister. I'm proud of you.
what happened to my brother and why it happened. I needed to understand. I could have took a stance where I started hating all police or
Right.
hating all
Right.
white people, but I decided to go and educate myself further about
Nice.
I had the knowledge on the systemic racism and the history of black people in this country, and now I have I'm about to graduate soon and have the knowledge of
Congratulations.
thank you, have the knowledge of the criminal justice system and the laws in this country so that I could better prepare my people and get rid of irrational fears that we do have.
Right. And then, host, can I say something? Somebody put something in the comment that says, raising your kids to hate mine. Meanwhile, I'm teaching mine to love everyone. See, that's the problem. I would never sit up here and say that I teach my kids to hate anybody.
Right.
Teach them the real truth. I got 5 boys and 2 girls. I got 7 kids. You got to tell them the truth. When you're a black male, you are 10 times more likely to be pulled over by the police. And my kids drive nice cars. Their father got them nice cars, so they're more likely. Let a white boy get pulled over. Oh, sure. How you doing, Johnny boy? Oh, you driving your dad's car? All right, you have a nice day. That don't happen with us. We're the only race of people that got to teach our boys, look, keep your hand on the steering wheel. Don't even look at the police. Don't do this. Don't even sneeze. Come on now, let's just be real, hosts. We can't sugarcoat nothing. If y'all want to say kumbaya and hold hands with people,
no, that's what we have to do. Right. It's not what we want to do.
Right. We have. Okay. How about this then? I want to know this, Red Hills. Then what was all the work? What was all the work that our kin folks did in the past? Then you telling me that shit just supposed to go just wasted?
And they had white allies.
Hold on. They put their lights on the line. They put everything on the line for us, our kin folks. My father went through segregation, segregated schools.
My mama did too.
And down south, segregated bathrooms to make his way all the way to New York, the way he was able to see his kids not go through that shit, right? So I want to know all the work that our kin folks did to go ahead and get us to where we at today, right? You telling me we supposed to just let that shit go unnoticed?
I would never tell you to let that go. Listen. All the work that my ancestors did and your ancestors did, though, that's good work. But guess what? When that torch was passed through the civil rights movement, on my mother, my father, and my aunts always say that you black people nowadays, y'all got lazy and too comfortable and too complacent. Right. We didn't keep going. Am I right, sister? We didn't keep going. We got comfortable. Oh, now we can date who we want. Oh, now we can ride in front of the bus. Oh, now we can go inside of the stores. When
they made it comfortable for us.
We made it comfortable. Yep. That's what it was way better back then when we couldn't ride the bus. We couldn't go to school with them.
When you say that, Red Hills, listen, when you say that, you wasn't there to say that, though. I spoke to
my mother, my father, and my aunt, and my grandmother.
I spoke to people who went through the Jim Crow era. I spoke to people that went through the civil rights era.
My mother and my father will tell you that, and my grandparents. They still alive. They talk to me all the time, and they tell me everything. Those are the history books.
Economically, it was better for black people. Black people were doing better economically.
Way better than. The solution is, guess what? This is what the solution is for black people. Stop trying to feel like illusion of inclusion. Stop trying to fit in when we were born to stand out. We need to get our stuff together. Start getting our documents together. Start starting our own businesses and supporting our own. And start teaching each one, teach one. We got to stop. We're dealing with, see, it's not hatred that we're dealing with. We're dealing with IGT, which is intergenerational trauma. We're dealing with so much trauma.
I have a question for you, Red Hills.
Okay, go ahead.
So this is a serious question.
Go ahead. Everything's serious about me. Go ahead.
So first of all, I wouldn't trade my childhood with anybody. So everybody comes from a different space. It doesn't mean
I didn't say you didn't.
And I understand that. But what am I supposed to tell my 15-year-old and my 20-year-old that I raised their entire life? That nobody's color matters. Everybody is equal. Everybody is to be treated the same.
She's lying. How you say nobody colors matter when you know when black people
let me finish.
Let her finish, Red Hills. Let her finish.
Okay, right. You're right. I'm sorry.
So when I stood heels to toe, because I live in Tennessee, in a southern area where people look down upon my white child because she prefers in her area, like she prefers to date mixed or black boys. And I'm not. I stood against my family to stand on that for my daughter to date and love who she wants to love.
But at the end of the day, can I say something to you? Guess what? You're still white. You can assimilate in society. Me being black, I can't do what you can do.
That's what I'm asking you.
But she's going to have to hurt for her children in the future.
And
that's what I'm saying.
My children have been called white trash. They have been called skank. They have been called... And
she gets the racism from her own people.
They've been called dis-lovers. But you know what? I stood upon that principle that does not matter.
A nigga lover.
A good person is a good person. A bad person is a bad person.
Who said that?
That's right.
That's what they say.
My children.
Hold on. Whoever just said that, y'all know damn well you can't use that word. Don't say that.
My bad.
What happened?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm sorry, Tiara.
Well, the end lover.
It's true, though.
That's what they call you.
That's what they call my child.
But can I say something? No, listen, guess what? Let me just say something to you. I'm sorry that your child has to go through that, but that's nothing compared to what black
And
people
I
go through on
understand
an
that,
everyday
but
basis.
when
See, the
does it
problem is that
change?
y'all like to come in and y'all like to retweet things like, well, guess what? My
No.
child, she chose to listen.
Here's
Your
the thing,
child,
Red Hills.
your
Here's
child
the red
Why
pill.
does it
chose.
Here's
have
the
to be
thing.
an
Your
When
argument?
is that
child
supposed
chose
to
to
change?
date
so
a black
angry.
What am
man.
I supposed
I
to
didn't
teach
choose to
my
be
child?
black. Listen, can I say something? Wait.
One at
Everybody,
a time.
Red
One
Hills.
at a time.
Everybody listen to Red Hills, please. And I'm not yelling at her.
One
I'm
at
glad
a
that we have this
time.
conversation. Your
Red
child
Hills, you gotta
chose.
let them respond though.
You're right.
You know
You're
what I'm
right. But
saying?
listen, I'm
No,
responding to her.
Red Hills, listen,
Her-
listen. Red
Okay.
Hills, I know you got a lot to say, but you gotta let them
Okay.
respond. You've been saying a lot and they're not getting a chance to chime in.
Okay, and I apologize to the panel. I'm not trying to take over, but your child chose to date a black person. Guess what? I didn't choose to be black.
That's
Remember, those are
correct.
two different things, though. So guess
That is
what you're
correct.
doing, though? You're doing the right thing by talking to your daughter. If your daughter feels like she wants to date a black man, then let her go ahead. Those are her feelings. But you got to teach her that there's consequences, though. She's going to deal with a lot of hatred, a lot of verbal abuse. She's going to deal with a lot of staring, a lot of this, that, and the third. It's going to happen, though. You're
I
gonna
have
deal with
family
that.
I don't speak to, and they don't speak to me, and they don't have anything to do with my daughter. And
you know
I
what it is,
stood on
though?
that principle.
Right, guess what? Just because your family don't speak to me, I don't think that they're racist, though. I told my kids right now, don't come home with no white girl. No, it's
I
too
think
many
they're
problems.
racist, and I call them racist.
I'm not racist, though.
That
Being
is
black, you can't be
racist.
That
racist.
is
Would you
racist.
rather
That's
them
not
That's
racist. They just want the
alone?
racist
No,
stay
my
behind.
family is
Don't-
racist, and that's
don't
what I'll
create-
call them.
Listen, teaching any child any shit. Let me say this. I got a 17-year-old son. He just turned 17. February.
Me too. I got a 17-year-old daughter.
Me
Never
too.
ever try to dictate who the fuck my son want to date. He could date who the fuck he wants.
Exactly.
Whatever
Long as
color,
they
any of
love
that
him.
shit. As
So
long
I
as he
guarantee
happy,
you,
but I would
Radios,
never go
one
ahead and
out of
put that
4 of
shit
your
into my
sons is
son's
gonna
brain.
date a white
And for y'all to
woman.
think that it's okay to put it into your child's brain to go ahead and stick within their own
Her
race.
son gonna end up dating white women just
But you
because
shouldn't
she
even put
trying
that
to
on
Children
me.
go to
That,
school
but
with
if
each
he
other.
do, I'm still gonna
So
love
that
him.
that's just not
But
logical.
then I'm gonna call you up and I'm gonna tell him,
No.
guess what? I'm still gonna love him.
But you
And I'm gonna give
teaching
you a
your
phone call
children
and
no
say, look,
matter
guess
who
what?
it is.
I'm still
You
gonna
teach
love
your
him.
children to only
You
love
like my
that
mama,
race.
see?
You teach your
Red Hills.
Yes.
The only thing that I feel this is me. This is me. This is not to be offensive. But
Okay.
the only thing that I feel to change anything is to stand up on those principles
That's
and
right.
stop the fact that, okay, my daughter has accepted the fact, my niece has accepted the fact that her family doesn't have anything to do with her. I'm not going to bend to the fact
They don't
that
need 'em.
a black boy or a black girl is less valuable to me than my daughter. And nothing is ever going to change until that changes in everybody. So it gets
But
frustrating.
this is a
And I'm
fabric
That's
talking
what I'm
from my
trying to tell
perspective.
everyone.
But black
Yeah,
people-
I'm talking
Okay.
from my perspective.
Right,
It
you're
gets
right.
frustrating
It is.
when I see this, and until that changes, the big picture is not going to change. When people are still carrying that Southern hate in their heart, because you know
Right.
racism exists, but racism is also taught. It is taught. Until we
Right.
stop teaching it,
That's right.
it's not going to get any
But-
better.
And then can I say
It's
something?
not.
When you say it's not only that it's taught, look at the neighborhoods, look at the educational system, look at the prison system, look at everything that's around us. Look at how
But
black people
sister,
are.
Where do
look
you
how
think
we
it
treat
starts?
our own
No,
Where do
but
you
neighbors.
think it
listen,
starts?
y'all not
Guys,
listening.
Look how we do each
you-
other.
No, but that you can't compare that to what globally has
Okay,
happened
we
to
see
us.
what they do. Why don't we do better?
Because
Sierra, do you treat your
guess
neighbors
what?
that
We
way?
are. Guess
We
what?
have to.
Sierra,
Hell
do you
nah, we
do
ain't.
you treat your black neighbors bad? Do you treat black people bad?
I don't have any black neighbors, but
I do, and I
anymore.
don't.
But no. You know, I don't have white friends. I don't
Why
have
do you
any.
keep saying we? Because I live in an all black community, and
I'm talking about we us.
Well,
Let me
I've
tell you
raised
something.
thousands
When we
of
were going
dollars.
through the civil rights
I've raised
movement and
thousands.
everything, we had white
I've done
allies that
activism
helped
all
push
over
this.
the country.
Wait, let
for
one
black
speak, y'all.
people in the name,
Let one
Okay.
speak.
in the
We
name
had
of
that.
black men.
We
I've-
need each other at
I've
the end of the
traveled.
day. And
Me
that's
and
just what
several
it is.
other black people have traveled the country. Like I said earlier, when we were still talking about the relationship aspect of this, because this conversation has took a whole nother turn. I said that it's the company you keep, number one, because I know hundreds of black people. I'm part of organizations who stand up for black people, not just black people either, for
Right.
white
We
people
never
that have
do it
been,
just for
white
us.
people that have been unjustly shot by police officers, Hispanic
You
people
gotta
that have
say pew
But y'all
been
wouldn't
unjustly
believe that
shot
they
by.
do them even
So,
worse
what
than
kind
that.
of
I
say
wouldn't
community are
believe.
you
pew.
keeping
You gotta
where
say
you
pew
think in your
pew.
mind that we don't do anything for each other as a
You gotta say pew
community?
pew. You keep saying other words. I gotta be careful when using
I'm
the
sorry.
words.
And then
I don't
guess
want to
what,
have to
sister?
drop y'all, but I'm not gonna risk my platform.
Right, right. And you're right. And sisters, can I just say something? You see what y'all just said though? You started to say, okay, guess what? Other people have been through the pew pewing with the police department. That's our problem as black people. We always join in everybody else's struggle in with ours, and we end up being at the bottom. We need to focus on us first. That's why the J people, the
That's
top hat
it.
people are at the
If we
top, because
focus
they
on
focus
us,
on them. They don't focus on nobody else. And guess what? Nobody else brings that smokes to them. They only bring it to us. What happens with all of these people who are getting, let's say, for examples, who are like, we got a new president. He's sending a lot of people back who came here illegally. A lot of those people want black people to come march for them and say, no, we ain't marching for y'all. If y'all
right?
can come here
Because
illegally,
that's
Red
what
well,
Hill,
then
we
our
do.
problem.
Red
It's
Hills,
our
We
can I say
get
problem.
something to
shit
you?
done. Ooh,
Red
we get
Hills,
it
can I say
done,
something
baby.
to you?
Yeah, go ahead. Yes, we are.
First of all, I do focus on my people first because I'm a black woman and I have black children. So of
Right.
course I'm always focused on them first.
Good,
I
good.
raised 6 black children.
Right.
I can't not focus on black lives first.
Right.
But there was white people or white tea people, I'm sorry, that lost their lives
That's right.
advocating and protesting
Amen. Thank you.
That's right.
Thank you.
for my
That's
Thank
brother,
you.
true. We know that.
Lots of them.
for
Lots
my
of them.
And you
brothers
said all
to
that
be
to say
shot
what?
by the police in
We're
his
just
life 7
we're
times.
just
A
outnumbered.
white tea man
That's it.
lost his life
But
protesting on my
no,
brother's
but
behalf.
I know, but can I say something? No,
You
and I
heard that?
respect that. You're right. Guess
So
what? And guess what? There's so many of them out there that have lost their lives, and rest in peace to them. But what I'm saying to you is just that that's only like a handful of people.
come
We gotta
on.
No,
Okay,
focus
it's
so
on the
not.
hold on. Let me say this.
It's
Hold on.
not,
Hold on.
Queen. No, it's
What's
not.
wrong with
No,
that,
no,
though,
You're
Pimp?
gonna
hold on,
get
The
y'all.
fact
walked
that
down
they're
with.
willing
Guess
to do
what?
that means
No,
something.
wait. No. Listen, y'all. I got to speak on this because if I bring 100 white people right now to you, Red, and hold
Man.
on, let me speak real quick. If I bring 100 people to Red right now, and a few that believe Red's ideology, right, with this, if I bring 100 white people, you know what Red's gonna say? That's only 100 white people. If I bring 1,000 white people, she's gonna say,
Man.
hold on, she's gonna say it's only
Exactly.
1,000.
Okay.
If I bring
Okay.
50,000, she's gonna say it's only
But you never
50,000.
100
Wait, if I bring you
white people aren't gonna
100,000,
come
you're
with
gonna
you,
say it's
brother.
only 100.
You're a black
If I
man.
bring you a
They're not
million,
gonna
you're gonna
come
say
with
it's
you.
only a million. So it's never gonna be good enough. It's never gonna be
No,
good
no,
enough.
no. But let me just
But
say
when
this.
you
Let me
live
just say
around
this.
them, you
You
know.
It's never gonna
you
be good
said
They
enough.
all
don't care
that to
about
say
what
what
color
though?
you is for real.
Right.
If you
Thank
don't
you.
got no money or no connections, they don't give a
Say it
about you.
again, sister. Say it again. Please say it
Okay.
again.
And